are happening. That's where you can see the secondary sales. But Twitter is kind of ground zero. Discord also.
But you don't know until it's happened, right? If something sells out, like we missed Meebits, and it's like, oh, well, they're gone. So how do you get in front of these things?
Well, I'll tell you this. I bought my Meebits at a pretty expensive rate. There was a moment in time where you could go on OpenSea and buy them for half, in the secondary. So you don't have to be there for the drop necessarily, and that was part of the problem with the market. When you were looking at these open editions that were happening on Rarible and kind of other sites, a fan would come buy an open edition and then, be able to buy it immediately for half or less on one of those secondary sites. And that's super problematic. But
that's not getting in front of it. Like, there's people who bought it when they went live. How, what is the best place to go to get in front of it? OpenSea is all secondary, or they're just selling their collection directly that way.
But you would be amazed at how many amazing things I've been able to buy in a secondary on OpenSea. Watching something that's actually ramping up the chart, gives a pretty good indication if it's something I want to buy, if it's something I'm interested in. So that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I love, minting immediately. The place I find that stuff is through the groups I'm part of. I'm, part of Telegram groups. The Dow Universe guys have some amazing groups. The IDO guys, which are more into fine art, have some groups. And it's just like anything else. The comparison between the music business and, I think, the NFT world, and the reason I love it so much, besides the fact I like collecting, is there's this community aspect. And, when I was a young guy, if you hung out with Alice in Chains, there's a good chance you what I'm talking about, Joel, there's a good chance you knew about Soundgarden or Temple of the Dog. Same thing with the early kind of EDM stuff. If you were hanging out with Moby, you probably knew about the Shaman and Stereo MCs. And, I think the NFT world and crypto world is really, really similar. These guys know each other. They're excited about it. And if you can, spend enough time on Twitter. I mean, even now, like the people I'm meeting on Twitter that are just so, enthusiastic about the space. I mean, that's where you hear everything. I mean, that's where I heard about this Fangirl thing, and I got to know those people. And I think it's this really cool way to communicate, especially if you're antisocial like me and never want to leave the house.
I think I need to get a big monitor that just has like hashtag NFTs rumbling on it all the time, so I can just monitor that to see what the hell's coming down the pipeline, because there's so much stuff going on. It's easy to miss.
I miss a lot of it too. I mean, sorry, that's my dog barking. I'm just saying.
Shut up, dog.
We welcome dogs here.
So yeah, I miss them too, and I get pissed when I miss them. But some of the big ones that are coming, you just try to get ahead of it and schedule it. And I definitely buy too much, and there's too much kind of a diversification on what I buy sometimes. And this is personally anyway.
Well, that's a really good point. How much room is there in the NFT space for this generative art? Right, and what's going to need to happen with these pieces? CryptoPunks were never used for anything other than collectibles. CryptoKitties, you could sire them and make new ones, but now we're seeing roadmaps that include utility for these things. Does that mean the time of just collecting pretty pictures as generative is coming to a close, or are we just getting started with it?
I think you're getting started with it all, and to me, it's more like everyone's going to have their lane. There's artists like Lenora who did the whole Boy series. That's just a piece of fine art right now, and it's beautiful. And I see her moving into a place where she'll be able to integrate those into virtual reality. I think the medium allows the artist to get far more creative. And I always thought, there was this beauty, it sounds ridiculous, but this beauty in crypto and technology. And, as a guy that was a fan of, Neuromancer and, those books and seeing it kind of come to fruition, Snow Crash and all of that, or, you get really excited about kind of what's possible, and, I found myself really getting caught into kind of traditional finance and traditional, venture. And, Rahila Zafar is a friend of mine that worked at Consensus. Early on, she opened up the Middle East for them. Really amazing person. She like reset me. And, when I go back to kind of how I started my career, it was really kind of idealistic in the sense that I just wanted to do fun shit. And I forgot along the way, what that was about. And when she started to show me, how these communities worked around decentralized properties, it was really kind of inspiring because money wasn't the driver. And look, everyone loves money. Money's great. But just to see that, these we're creating these really interesting NFTs and other kinds of paradigms that hadn't been created before. I mean, look, take a look at it as a whole. They didn't really like what the financial but they didn't like the returns. Let's just call it what it is. Your bank return isn't as good as a DeFi return, and that's why something like Aave has $20 billion staked, which is unheard of. Throwing my little raves at 25 years old, I don't I wasn't going to get $20 billion in one of my raves, and the fact that they can do this now, being online and reaching out is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a fun space to keep an eye on. And even with some of the stuff that's going on, we love Wax. We pay attention to Wax a lot of stuff going on ETH. You're talking about Avagache. What are some of the other chains that are interesting to you? I know that Binance is starting to do some stuff. And some other ones. Are there some other chains that pull your chain?
Yeah, I mean there are, and it's fun to see them develop. The reason I think Ethereum, is predominantly, the mainstay is, again, the DeFi stuff that's happened on Ethereum, but also, this whale culture emerged, and you had a lot of guys, really supporting the art that was coming off that chain. Look, I bought something on the Binance chain. I hear that it's doing well now for artists, and if artists can make money on another chain like Binance, I'm all for it. I mean, I don't love a lot of the stuff that's been replicated. They have their version of CryptoPunks, which are called Bunks with a B. They have their version of OpenSea, which is called OpenSea. So they kind of knock everything off. And I don't love that part, but if it's making money for artists, I think that's good. The Cardano guys are doing some really interesting things. Which I think we'll see ramp. And I don't think right now as the stuff that's built on Ethereum, but I guess time will tell. Look, the other side of that really is the stuff that is completely centralized. The stuff that we have emerging in sports, the stuff that we're more traditional. A lot about that, right?
We talked about that a year or so ago. Like, man, it's like, why would somebody want to Jenner? Like, she could put up a photo, but if she puts it up and there's only 100 of them available for people to download and save and as an NFT, then that's kind of a good thing, especially when you're tying in social money. Tying in social money plus NFTs, right? It seems to me to be a whole new unexplored space for a lot of artists. I think we're going to see more of that as we move forward. What do you think?
I think we're going to see a lot more of the social stuff. Look, you got the BitClout experiment. They've got really good people behind it. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that any photo I take can now be a NFT. We're going to see the mint your own Shopify model with all the media companies. I think I've read recently, that Iger and Disney and all of these are really investing a lot of resource into the whole metaverse. That's taking amusement parks, out of the physical realm and doing them in this virtual place is really pretty interesting. And getting back to Rahila, she gave me this Oculus Quest. Everything with Rahila, she pushes me on something, and I kind of get into it and look at it. And I don't know if you guys have played with the Quest, but it's like amazing, like
all the time.
Yeah, it's unreal.
I am a Beat Saber master.
Yeah, I am. Well, it would make sense that you would be.
Don't mess with me.
There was a beat dope in there somewhere. But the games are just unbelievable, and I think that's really where we're going to see a lot of this
Head northwest on Trick K Galea towards Trick G Galea, then turn right onto Trick Emmanuel Benjamin
The
Villa.
ability to change a piece of art. I have Samsung frames in my house. I like them because they were just kind of low-profile televisions. But there will be a minute, coming up pretty quick where
head northwest on Trick K Galea towards Trick G Galea, then turn right onto Trick Emmanuel Benjamin Villa.
But it is a nice way to display the NFTs that I may be really proud of. If you look at the fact that Jay-Z, just changed his icon in Twitter to a CryptoPunk, I can't think of anyone, who still is culturally kind of relevant as Jay-Z is. And I find myself putting my CryptoPunk, as my icon in all of my social media. Not that I have a lot of followers, because I don't, but it's still fun to, it's almost just fun to say, here's a CryptoPunk, I'm into crypto.
So I heard through the grapevine that you guys are maybe launching a fund of some sort. Is this a DeFi NFT fund, or is this a full-on venture fund? What's going on?
I think so. It is a fund that's an NFT fund. I think it's first one of its kind. We've seen a lot of the DAOs out there. Like Flamingo DAO, and I think there's a bunch of kind of DAOs that have been relegated to supporting artists through their NFT work. And I was spending so much time on this. Partners continued to tell me we should, and I kept saying, what's that have to do with? Because I'm the one guy in the music business, and these guys came from finance. And Ben signed me up, and he said, look, dude, art funds, and I just didn't doing as much research as me, spending so much time in the space, so I kind of reluctantly agreed to it. But, being able to support art and 30% that I believe in, I'm kind of in my thinking in terms of what I believe in the art I want to be connected to, and I think there's a good financial opportunity in some ways too, although that's not the main driver, because I think the way NFTs are being valued, there's a lot missing. Right now there's like one set of tools, rarity tools, and they're basing it on scarcity and rarity and how these things are generated. And I think there has to be an aesthetic value to art as well. So why not work that into it? And I think you can take these different approaches to, what you think is going to be popular and important. And, I read something recently that Christie's compared CryptoPunks to early Warhols, and I love that. That's the stuff that is really interesting. And, I bought these Bored Apes, and, a month later I was offered 10 times the money, for those funds in that way. I've never sold anything. But
you're a collector.
I like collecting this stuff, and really there is this part of supporting artists, and it's cool. These artists haven't made, some of them have never made any money, and to be able to just go in and be fortunate enough to be able to support them, that's really cool. And I want to do more of that. So that's really kind of also the impetus, because with the fund you have a much bigger war chest. In terms of what you can deploy, and hopefully the people that are, supporting the fund, obviously the goal is to make a return for them. And if we take a look at just some of the early returns already, it makes a lot of sense.
So what's the website for the fund?
It's not even up. It's Wave Financial. It will be up. It's all been structured at this point. And the cool thing about it too is, a lot of kind of early tastemakers are going to be part of it, and it's weird, man. For the longest time, I was like you, Joel. I'm sure you were just like me in terms of the fact that I would isolate. I would just do my own businesses. I would just not leave the house, and I'm in a lot of ways still like that. But with Wave, the one thing that it did show me is that collaboration can be strong, and when you collaborate with people, you really do get the benefit of their ideas, and in my case, most of them are better than mine. And that's been the really fun thing about this as well, like collaborating with these young guys who are really into the space. Their ideas are just so different than mine. And at 53, and it's really cool to still be curious and inspired.
Right on. Well, Les, where can people look you up?
Twitter is the best place right now because, I think I spend most of my time there, and it's just at Les Orsay.
Orsai. It's all in the show notes, gang. Les, thanks for coming on and sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
The dude is both smart and funny, but not
NFTs,
nearly
doesn't he?
he's not nearly as good looking as me.
Not quite as good looking as Sir Lord Joel Comm, but I mean, frankly, who is? I mean,
that's true. That is,
I mean, seriously, let's be real about this.
In the deluded world that I live in, I believe that as well.
He was over here yesterday with his shirt off, folks. You guys missed out.
It was
gonna make it an NFT.
There's hair everywhere. Lots of hair.
Yeah. If we do a bro punk at Joel, we need to make sure that he's shirtless with lots of hair on his chest.
Lots of hair and lots of tan. I mean, I'm really pleased with the color, right? This.
Yeah, you look actually like you might be Latino. Didn't you have somebody say that, like, wow, you actually look like if you spoke Spanish, you could pass you're like one of those we're not Ricardo Montalban looking guys.
See, I'm Boricua. That's what they call Americans that are now Puerto Ricans. And we just dodged another bullet here in Puerto Rico. Last week it was potential tropical storm Fred, which we were threatened with, and Fred passed by the island. We did not get hit at all. And we were supposed to wake up this morning, timestamp it is Sunday, August 15th, 2021. We were supposed to wake up to 30 to 55 mile per hour winds from Tropical Storm Grace. Well, guess what? Grace gave us grace and blew south of where we are. I think hit the west.
Head northwest on Trick K Galea towards Trick G Galea, then turn right onto Trick Emmanuel Benjamin Villa. Head northwest on Trick K Galea towards Trick G Galea, then turn right onto Trick Emmanuel Benjamin Villa.
Literally into the eye of a big ass tropical storm. So, how about we delay that for a day? And you know what was crazy? Here's what was crazy. So I contacted American Airlines, and and I was like, all right, well, we need to change the flights. And they're like, so I'm going through the whole process on the phone, and they're like, the hold time is 4 hours and 37 minutes. It's like, would you like to hold your place in line, and then we'll call you back? And I was like, okay, that's going to be like 11 o'clock in the evening. Okay. And then I call back at like about 10 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, so 3 hours have passed. Maybe the phone lines have died down a bit. I call back, and it's like, oh, we recognize your number. Travis Wright, you're still in queue. You have between 2 hours and 58 minutes and 3 hours and 35 minutes. And I was like, what? I've already been on hold for 3 hours. So I wait until 2 o'clock. I call back, and it says, you're in line. Wait to be called back in an hour and 58 minutes. And I was like, are you shitting me? I've already been on hold for 6 hours. And so I DM American Airlines, because I know that I normally would fly United, but I know United's having problems with a lot of pilots leaving the company because they're all being forced to be mandated with the vaccines, and a lot of them don't want that. And so I know that American's not doing that right now, at least yet, but something's going on where a lot of these employees are not showing up for work anymore. But I connected with them on Twitter, and I sent them a tweet on the DM. They messaged me back at about 4:30 in the morning, so I kind of was dozing in and out, and then I called back, and I was still an hour and a half in the queue at 6 a.m. in the morning. And so luckily right about 7 o'clock this morning, Twitter, they got back to me, and they switched my flight on a Twitter DM. So I just had to verify everything through them, and they were able to switch it with no change fees, so that was good. But good Lord, I'm probably still in the queue because I've not gotten a phone call back from them.
That was an amazing story. Really,
you being smart? You being a smart ass?
I'm being a smart ass.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. I mean, how only been on queue for? Have you ever been on queue for 11 hours with some company?
Oh, well, I mean, if you count the times that they never call you back, then I've been on queue for years.
Okay, but I'm still in the queue because they said I am. But anyways,
it's because you're such a cutie.
Thank you. Oh, so nice. We're very complimentary. This is the overly complimentary episode of Bad Crypto.
Oh, you're just saying that because you're so amazing.
Thank you. So true.
Hey, what's going on
it's
with...
great that you finally acknowledged my greatness.
What's happening with Cardano? I don't know. I've just been kind of watching this here, and it like popped. It's up 48% over the last 7 days. And Ripple is up 63% to $1.31.
Yep.
Like there's a few.
Well, I have an idea about Cardano, but we're not ready to talk about that yet.
We do have ideas, but I don't think that our ideas have anything to do with it.
Not our ideas. There's some big companies that are being built and starting to utilize and come out that they're going to be utilizing Cardano. They're going to be paying commissions out in Cardano and ADA. There's some other stuff that's going on, so it's like there might be. I think there's some little bit of FOMO rumors before the news popping out in some cases. But we'll see. I mean, I think more and more stuff. I think ADA is finally ready and nearly fully baked, and I think we're going to start seeing some DeFi platform stuff popping up on Cardano and NFT platforms and some other stuff. So maybe not a bad idea to take attention. I used to have a bunch of ADA back when it was like 5 cents. Had a friend say, you need to buy some of this, and so I bought some of it, and I was like, all right, and then I got out of it whenever it hit like 20 cents. So good job, Travis.
What's really interesting to me is to try to look at crypto through the lens of time. And I'm not talking about looking to the past necessarily. I'm talking about looking to the future by examining the past. The question being, all right, we're looking at Bitcoin today. As of right now, it's 46,600.
Head southeast on Trick K Galea towards F Zara, then turn left onto K Rizzo.
Was crypto a year ago today? And by looking at this, can we kind of speculate where we'll be looking, back a year from now to today? Bitcoin a year ago, almost today, the snapshot on coin market cap is from the 16th, not the 15th. Bitcoin was 11,892. It's more than 4x that now. Ethereum was $433. So what is that? That's
about 8x. 3,200, 8x ish, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cardano, which is number 3 now, was 13.8 cents. It's 218 right now. It was number 10.
That's like about a 13x, 14x.
Binance coin was 23.50. It's 409 today.
That's a 20x right there, baby.
But I'll tell you, if you
should go back to listen to our episodes back in August of 2020 when we told you to buy Binance and we told you to buy Ethereum and we told you to buy Cardano. It was financial advice.
We didn't tell anybody to buy it.
We told you all of it. We said buy it all, and you can't prove it.
Now here's one that would have been a poor investment a year ago. Tether. It was $1 then. It's $1 now.
That's true. Litecoin was $63. Now it's $183. So even if you invested all your money in Litecoin, you'd be up 3x your money right there.
Dogecoin, which is now 32 cents, was 0.0035. It was a third of a penny. So that is what kind of multiplier is that?
That's 100x right there.
No, it's more than that. 3 cents.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
30 cents would be 10x, and then 30 cents would be 100x, and that's like, what, 31 cents or something? 32 cents. So more than 100x it's actually gone up. It's gone up almost 110x, actually.
Was DOT even on? DOT wasn't even a thing a year ago.
Well, it hadn't been rolled out yet. They were working on it, but it wasn't fully launched yet.
Right. Let's see. Uniswap was also not yet. It wasn't a top 200 token. If it was a token, Solana wasn't. What else we got?
Chainlink was $18, and now it's $27. So that didn't. If you invested all of it in that, it didn't really go up. What we should have done was taken all your Chainlink gains and then put them in Dogecoin. So if we're going to go back, this is the way back machine, time machine edition of what you should have done, but didn't.
Matic was 3 cents. It's $1.46 now. So
nice.
The way I try to look at my investments now and gain perspective, a lot of people are very short term in the crypto markets. Now, if you want to really have fun with it, go back another year and look at what these were, a year previous. Yeah, there's going to be some ups and downs, but some of them that were brand new companies at the time are now, leading the way. Try to look at what crypto is going to be a year from now and look back to today and go, damn, I can't believe Ethereum was 3256, because I believe, as do many of others, that a year from now we're going to have seen an $8,000 to $10,000 Ethereum.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could happen quicker than we think, right? It depends on if this next bull run's going to go boom boom or not, or when it's going to go boom boom. I mean, it does seem to be that we've been hanging around for the longest time with Bitcoin, hanging around, between 30 and 40 grand, and now here we are. We're seeing the upper 40s now. It's like, how long until we pop through 50? Pop through 50, then you start getting people all excited again, and then next thing you know, we got 100 grand probably.
Well, what you see is the people who bought during the last pop up to 65 start to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I haven't lost my money yet if they didn't sell.
Right. No, you did. It's gone.
Oh, sorry. Gone forever. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you joining us here for this here podcast. And if you appreciate us, you can show that appreciation by sending us copious amounts of your Bitcoin. No, you don't have to do that. Just go. We don't want your money. We've got great sponsors for the show. We're very fortunate to be advisors on some really great projects. We want to keep this show free for you, but if you want to take a moment to go review us, give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening, write us a review, thumbs us up, double thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bells, and you can send us boxes of Omaha steaks if you want. That would be okay.
Yeah, actually, if you want to send us a great crypto, there is one out there called Corn. And I don't know if you know this or not, but fully diluted market cap is $187,000 of the Corn project. $15.62 per corn.
No, okay.
iCorn.finances. It's a real thing.
Okay, so I just searched for corn on CoinGecko, and there's Cornicon, which symbol is corn. There's also corn, which symbol is corn. There's Bitcorn, which is corn, and then there's the popcorn token. That's also corn. So
be confused which one you send us, because we like the one that's easily digestible.